Today is going to be a very short video and it's not going to be very complicated because I'm not going to be doing anything here. All I'm going to be doing is showing what you can do with your photos. Having them on the computer is really nice, but putting them up on the wall or doing something with them is much better and gets your artwork out there for other people to see. So most of us print on a standard either a local printer, or we send out our prints to be printed by Walgreens or Walmart or whatever, Costco, whatever. And that's really nice, and 99% of the stuff that you're going to do is that type of work. You can print in glossy, you can print on matte, you can flip it over to black and white. That's really nice. But there are other media that you can use that also generates a very, very innovative, unique look to your photography. And I'm going to cover a couple of them today. So within the next 5 minutes, I'm going to cover everything that there is. I'm not going to show you how to do it, but I'm going to cover a few of them that I do. So to do a quick recap, the standard printing that we normally do as photographers take place on paper, and that's pretty good. You could also print on glass, you can print on metal, and each one of these three media have different characteristics that can enhance your photograph. But at the end of the day, it's still a nice photograph, and that's about it. This particular photograph is done on wood, and one of the things I like about it is the fact that it warms up the tones. Now, this is a very sharp photograph when I first took it, and I think this is Stockholm, Sweden, on one of my trips there. So what I did on this particular process was print it on a color printer, an inkjet specifically, in reverse, and I printed it on the shiny side. Then I flipped it over, put it on the piece of wood, and rolled it on. So you don't get precision, sharp lines, but you do get a very, very antique-y type of an effect. I then waited for it to be dried up, and I put a couple of layers of shellac. Now, shellac will put a golden tone to it, and I particularly like it. See, so I've done a few of these, and I really, really like the effect that it has. This print was done on a laser, and this is a piece of tile. And what you do with that is you take it's a white tile, and I painted it matte black. And then when you run it through the laser with your photograph, it produces this type of an effect. Now, this one is a little bit different because this is a puzzle. So what I did is I took a photograph, and I have a whole another video of how the entire process works. But basically, I took a photograph and I put it onto masonite, very thin masonite. And then I put that through the laser and cut out the puzzle pieces. So you can see that there's a ton of puzzle pieces here, as an example. And you can put it in all kinds of different shapes, and it really does a really good job. You can give it to your grandchildren or grandmothers, let them put it together, and then after they're done, they can hang it on the wall. And that's a pretty interesting way to do it too. Now, if you really want to get fancy, you can directly print right onto a piece of wood. So this is a piece of Baltic birch, and with this photograph here is just a very simple, it's a photograph of my cat, Zoe, and I put it on the laser and etched it out. So that's another way that you can show your photographs out. Now, one of the other things that you could do is also, there are so many different ways to deal with this stuff, and I wish I had an example of what I'm thinking about now. Is I like to do a lot of silhouette photography, where you just have silhouettes, and those are really cool. Let me see if I can find an example of that for you. Now this is a silhouette photography that I've done, and it's one of my, I won't say it's my favorite, but it's one that I like a lot. So what you could do with this one as well is this would beautifully burn on wood. You could also burn it on marble, any stone, tile, whatever you want. And it would really look good in somebody's house. So, oh wow, there might even be a possibility you can use an inlay and make this an inlay type of thing. That's a topic for discussion, something else. So you're not limited to just paper. There's a ton of different ways that if you think about it outside the box, you can really bring this up. I'm sorry. So there's a zillion different ways to creatively display your photographs, and you need to stand out from somebody else if you're interested in selling, or maybe you want to express yourself in a different fashion. So I've shown you a few different ways. There's a ton more that I didn't think of, and there's probably a few that I thought of that I'm not going to tell you about because, you know, kind of So anyways, that's it. I'm not going to bore you. I told you it's going to be a short video.